Hi, I'm Pollyanna McIntosh, and you're watching Comicbook.com.
What's up, Comic Book Nation? Welcome. Happy Thursday. It's time for Comic Book Now, joined, as always, Charlie Ridgely's here. Charlie,
what's up, everybody?
how you doing? Life good?
Oh, life's always good.
Oh, that's good to hear. Beside me, you'll notice, guys, newcomer to the program, Janelle Wheeler. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope at home you're giving her a round of applause. Janelle, tell us something interesting about yourself. Introduce yourself to Comic Book Nation.
I used to break dance.
Wait, hold on.
Is that weird?
Can you bust something out?
Like, definitely not here on the table, but I'll post something at some point.
we will get your Janelle Wheeler breakdancing video, guys, I promise. The reason we brought Janelle onto the show today is because we have a big Walking Dead show. And she is my co-host on Comicbook.com's After the Dead, which is a show we do every Sunday night during The Walking Dead, immediately following the episodes. We do exclusive interviews and all that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of that here right now, Comic Book Now. Last week we went to England. It was Kingsman: The Golden Circle. This week it's Walking Dead. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comment section. Make sure you share our show so we can continue doing exciting stuff like this. We're going to talk to Scott Gimple, Norman Reedus, Greg Nicotero, Ross Marquand, Pollyanna McIntosh, Cooper Andrews. I'm not kidding. This is a big deal. And that's because we got to visit the set of this AMC show, and we saw a 6-foot Lucille. That's huge news, guys. I mean, if that's not exciting. Look at that thing. It was going to be used in the season 6 finale during Negan's Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Moe scene, but as you see the Walking Dead's prop master, John Sanders, holding it, he told us it was going to offer a POV perspective from Negan's point of view, with Lucille kind of sticking out of the camera. Never ended up being used. But we were on set, though, for episode 100. We got to see a few different scenes being made, including the Old Man Rick sequence that was revealed in the San Diego Comic-Con trailer. I can't say too much about that. I did see a lot, and there's a lot of spoilery stuff that I can't say. But what do you guys think? Let's start right here. Charlie, Janelle, I want to know your theory. What's going on with Old Man Rick?
I've heard lots of things. I do not read ahead in the comics, so I am not to that point yet, but I've heard that this is a fast track forward. It happens in the comics. You know, whatever. What I would like to believe that it could possibly be is just an homage to the first episode in the way that they kind of show him waking up from his initial coma. I do not believe it's a coma. I do not believe it. I don't think they're trying to. No, I don't think they're trying to do that.
No. I don't know. I've heard some coma theories out there. You know, Rick's been in the coma this whole time and none of it's real. I think Rick is waking up from a coma, okay? He's in the hospital. He doesn't know what's going on. He goes home, scrambles in the front door. Lori's there. She's alive. She's with Shane in the kitchen. He's hugging on her. They're just talking. And she said, "Oh my God, Rick!" And as soon as they start talking, the doorbell rings. The doorbell rings, and Glenn is there holding a pizza because he's a delivery man, bringing them the pizza in Georgia because everyone's still alive. Okay. None of it actually happened.
I'm okay with that. I love Glenn.
It's not going to happen. I would be so cool if they filmed Chandler Riggs while he was young because he's like 45 years old now and has like hair growing on every part of his body. No, it's not a coma. I do like the idea of it being like a dream. Anyway, we'll see. I can't say too much. But whatever the case may be, one thing is for sure, this episode is going to be massive. The Walking Dead episode 100, the season 8 premiere. Here is what showrunner Scott Gimple had to say.
The All Out War storyline, although it did have a pretty focused story on Ezekiel, even that was sort of intercut with a lot of other things going on. The narrative itself is incredibly propulsive and it cuts around quite a bit. Characters are all mixed up, and you know, just the circumstance doesn't really dictate this sort of slow. I do not say that in any sort of pejorative way. But this quieter side story with characters, it's just so much of it is just going forward and working against the clock and racing each other towards objectives and towards victory.
Hearing it from Scott Gimple, though, might not be enough for you. We decided, because of that, we would head back down to Sonoy, Georgia earlier this week to catch up with some additional cast members for their perspective on how propulsive this episode is going to be. So I want to talk about episode 100. I got to go to the set.
Yeah.
It was a massive episode.
It's epic.
So from your perspective, you were on the show for a year before that. Mm-hmm. What was different? What were some of the biggest differences? Did you guys do anything to kind of make this feel different on set?
Well, it's really exciting coming in for me this season because I'm now season regular, and before I was just recurring, so I was kind of going, am I going to die tomorrow? And now I'm going, am I going to die tomorrow? But you know.
Right. Feel a little bit more, it's like a little bit of job security.
A little more security.
Yeah, as much as you can on this show.
Second.
And you've been part of the show for a year by the time you guys became working on episode 100. So did anything stand out? Was there anything different? Did anything feel different on set for those days?
I mean, it feels completely different now because you know, season 7 for us, All the Kingdom, it was, you know, we're kind of in our own world, doing our own thing. You know, we don't, you know, it's like even during when we meet the Alexandrians and they come, it's sort of like, oh, welcome to our show. Yeah, we'll show you around. You know, and then this year it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we're in The Walking Dead. You know,
I mean, you were a part of the show for a couple years by this point. So was anything different on set those days?
Not really. It was just a really big production. I know that, which made it a hectic work schedule. But everyone was just having fun like they do every single day. So didn't seem too different.
I just know that we've been really pushing it as far as the action's concerned.
Right.
So it feels like everybody's blood is really pumping this season. You know, before it was a lot of questioning and the morality and the, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And I, as an audience member, as I was saying before, was like, let's do it. And now we're doing it.
Oh, I'm so excited. But yeah, it's perfect you say that, because when we were on set, the word that everybody seemed to use to describe this season 8 premiere was propulsive. It seems like that was the word that everyone was like, it launches everything. So I'm wondering, in what ways that you can share, is it propulsive, and how much of an effect on the following episodes does this kind of set in motion?
Oh, you're not going to get that out of me. I can't say anything like that. Propulsive is a great word. That's about all I can say.
It's one of those things, like, because as a fan, I was worried, like, oh, it's gonna come in later, and we're just gonna ease into it. No, it's like right off the bat, we go to it, and that pace, that's the pace that's kept.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really going to be awesome in that sense.
I can't wait.
Yeah, propulsive, good word.
Yeah, perfect.
This episode's like a really big deal because it is really big, and it does kind of set off all the events for the next season. Like it's just that important in the actual series.
In that season 7 finale, for the first time, was really when we saw everyone come together.
Yeah.
So are we going to see a lot of that this year? Is it?
I feel like yes. Yeah, we're going to see some teamwork. I mean, this is. I mean, when it comes to war, you know, I mean, people have to come together, you know, to take on the.
I'm ready to see Daryl and Carol kind of go out to battle with Jerry and see what that conversation's like. Maybe get Rick in there, like, this dude, why is he so happy? Why are you so happy all the time? Jerry, calm down.
Constant food supply, no, exactly.
But you know, it's war, so obviously people are going to die. Obviously, new alliances are going to be made, and there might be some fallings out. Yeah, there's going to be explosions, and there's going to be consequences.
Scott Gimple just said, he said there's going to be deaths that fans aren't expecting, which, I mean, I feel like I know everything, and when they managed to throw me for a loop.
That I wasn't expecting.
Whew, that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a big episode, and we have more interviews coming up in just a little bit. I want to talk about something real quick, including Ross Marquand joining us via Skype. So make sure you share the show and like our Comic Book Now Facebook page. But guys, we're talking about shocking deaths. Scott Gimple promised this. Pollyanna, who plays Jadis, just said there are deaths that she wasn't expecting. So, you know, these people read the comics. They have expectations. Who do you think? Who do you not want to see, and who do you think is going to go?
I do not want to see Negan die. I can't believe I'm saying that. I am the biggest Glenn fan you will ever meet. But I do not want Negan to die. And I'm actually, after watching that trailer, I'm okay with Tara dying. She was annoying me with the gun pointing. She was doing the poo-poo. She had the glasses on and the Twizzlers hanging out of her mouth. Just wasn't into it.
Janelle making enemies first day on Comic Book Now. Charlie, what do you think?
What really sucks for me is, like, the person that I want to die the least and the person that I think is going to die in this season is the same person. And you and I talked about it. It's Morgan Jones. Like, Lenny James, I think, is the best actor on that show. I've said it a lot of times, and I love Lenny James. I'm really disappointed, but the way the story's worked, the way Morgan's gone, he's derailed, and I think he's not going to last.
I do agree with you there. I really think Morgan is going to go. I think Morgan's time is up. He's one of the season 1 people, although he has come and gone. He's going to be a very impactful death if he does go. I think he goes, and I also think Eric, Aaron's boyfriend, played by Jordan Woods Robinson. We all read the comics. We know what happens. I think he's going to go. That's got to make way for that Jesus-Aaron relationship everyone's asking for. But I have a theory. I think that the time jumps, I think there's going to be time jumps throughout the season, not just in the first episode, or maybe at least throughout the first episode, not just the one Old Man Rick scene. I think they're going to reveal survivors kind of one at a time, and you're going to be able to piece together like, oh, Maggie survived the war. I haven't seen Michonne. Some things like that. I haven't seen Daryl. Are they going to survive?
We haven't seen Eugene in the trailer, not once. Even, which is pretty crazy.
Right, so I think that might be an interesting way to unveil it. The time jumps won't be limited to the Old Man Rick thing by the sound of it. Here's what Greg Nicotero, executive producer of The Walking Dead and director of the Season 8 premiere, had to say about it.
You know, we ended 7/16 with Negan standing in front of the sanctuary going, okay, we're going to war. Everybody's kind of there and ready to go. So I would say this is by far the most propulsive season premiere that we've ever done in terms of setting the stage for knowing that, you know, we're in the war, you know, and that's fun and exciting, and you know, just the idea of you know, our story arcs that tend to play out over multiple episodes, and sometimes we disappear and find people, and I think we're accelerating our pace a little bit, you know, this season in terms of maybe having some of those little moments kind of conclude a little sooner as opposed to maybe dragging them out over long periods of time.
That is all very heavy. This season seems like it's going to be very heavy. But how about a little fun? Let's mix it up for a second. Like, I don't know, Norman Reedus and all the pranks he likes to pull. He did spare everyone for episode 100, but while we were on set of The Walking Dead, the guy who plays Daryl revealed what might be his best prank on Andrew Lincoln yet.
You know, my very favorite one was Japan. That was my ultimate favorite. He was like, I don't know if whoever knows that story, but we go to Japan for a press junket, and we're so jet lagged, and there's just a room full of Japanese interviewers, and he goes, you speak Japanese, right? And I go, a little bit. And he's like, how do I say, thank you for having me in your country? And I go, Tole wa doko desu ka? And he sort of like repeats it a couple times, and then before he starts, he goes, wait, I just want to say one thing. And he says it with such passion. He goes, Tole wa doko desu ka? And they're all looking at him like, what the f? He goes, what the f did I just say? And I said, you said, where's the toilet? That was like my favorite one. That's kind of what kicked it off.
Dude, Norman Reedus has now filled Andrew Lincoln's trailer with chickens, changed his license plate, filled his air conditioner with glitter. I don't know, those dudes have a good time.
It's great. I want to be friends with them. I don't know. I'm cool. I'll take the glitter.
I swear, I think that's part of why the show is so successful. I think it's like cast based on personalities. I mean, it's just the way they interact with each other and their fans is unreal. It's second to none. But speaking of fun, you know who's a lot of fun? Jerry. We did in the Season 8 trailer, we got the really cool shot, and I'm sure everyone's complimented you on this, of you and Kari Payton, or he's Ezekiel, and you're like, hey, thanks, man. He's like, for what? For being such a cool dude. Yeah. But at the same time, you guys are covered in blood in that shot.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit of what's going on there, why he's saying that, what has become of that relationship now?
It's how can I say it without saying, it's going to be something where we're going to sort of see that relationship kind of expand, and it's cool for me because it's always like, well, what's Jerry's purpose, and so it's a cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I kind of I like knowing because I feel like we're gonna see why he's kind of the happy guy that he is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because we did have a little bit of that one scene with Carol and Ezekiel where we pulled the curtain back on Ezekiel a little bit, and we saw the real guy in there. So I think everyone's ready to see the real Jerry.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. The in that shot where we have the hair, I'll say this is that when we read for that, I was like, oh, I would like to have some Last of the Mohicans hair. our head of hair, as Pollyanna likes to call her, Tay-Tay, she's like, I think that's awesome. So they just let me get that.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Hey, you looked good, man. You were rocking it. We have the relationship, Jerry and Ezekiel. He hasn't really met everyone, as you said. Are there any cool new relationships for Jerry in the future, like throughout this season, that he's going to kind of build upon with other?
Yeah, with everyone sort of coming together, I think we'll get to see Kingdom kind of talking with others, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be cool in that sense, you know.
Sweet.
Just, you know, I always like it. It's sort of like, I don't know, it feels to me like a crossover in a sense, you know, or that's how I like to take it. But as a fan, I'm just like happy to just see everyone like kind of together.
It is kind of a crossover because we did establish the kingdom almost entirely separately from Alexandria, and when they finally come together, it felt like an event.
Oh yeah, and even when like I said, even when we shot everything, it just felt like everyone else was joining our thing, you know, because we were just so isolated from everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
No, but of course, as exciting as it is to hit this all-out war storyline, you can't have war without death. Scott Gimple just said the other day, there are deaths that he doesn't think fans are expecting. Now, I don't want to know who because I love watching the show and not knowing. But has there been anything?
It's going to be Walker with big bloody eyes. We're all going to miss him. No,
has there been anything that's kind of shaking you guys up that you guys weren't expecting?
Pretty much what Scott said. As a fan, I think fans will agree with that.
That's the safe answer. I respect it. I respect it.
We'll leave it at that.
He likes his job, guys. He's a smart guy.
Well, I mean, even as a fan of the show, I wouldn't want anyone to tell me what's going on. I would want to, you know, and so it's like, all I can say is like, what Scott said. It's what Scott said.
Perfect. You know, like you say, you're a fan of the show, and I know you kind of have a love for Superman and other comic book titles and everything. So, what is it like to be part of the? I mean, this is really the biggest comic book adaptation right now. I mean, maybe like on TV for sure. Maybe besides like the Avengers, this is the biggest thing right now in geek culture. Millions of people watching on a weekly basis. You were a fan. What I mean, on a daily basis, you're going in there, you're getting dressed up, and you're going into this world. What is it like for you? And then to watch it, like, what is the whole thing like for you?
I mean, this is what I tell people. I'll expound on it, but you know, just imagine being a fan of the show for the last 7 years, and then, you know, and as an actor, I never even thought I would be on the show. It was never a thought like, oh, I want to be on that. You know, it was just, well, what's next? And then when that call comes in, and you're like, oh, I guess I can be in that. So I mean, every day it's like you're pinching yourself. You know, I can't believe I get to, you know, I'm just talking with people that I've looked up to for, you know, the longest time. I mean, it's, you know, and friends. I eat dinner with these people. You know, we go out. You know, I can't believe that.
That's so cool.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
In that sense.
For our full uncut interviews with Cooper Andrews, Pollyanna McIntosh, and Caitlin Nacon, head to comicbook.com/The Walking Dead and stick with us here on Comic Book Now, because in a few minutes, Aaron actor Ross Marquand is going to join us via Skype for some extra Season 8 scoop. Before we get to the news real quick, guys, I saw a question. Chris Poverman wants to know, do you think Shiva will die in Season 8 like she did in the comics?
Can we have a Game of Thrones moment where like the walkers, it turns into a walker tiger?
Oh,
that
wouldn't be bad.
A White Walker
that
dragon.
That would change the whole.
That would change it, because we've never seen animals as walkers before. You know, like it's a human disease from what we know. But I think that if they want heartbreak, if they want shock deaths, like Shiva's how they're going to do it.
Absolutely.
And
even just the CGI alone.
Yeah,
it costs a lot of money.
Expensive. Shiva's very expensive. Killing Shiva not only breaks people's hearts, saves AMC money. But now let's switch gears for a second and check in with the ComicBook.com staff for this week's top comic book picks.
What's going on, guys? My name's Chris Killian, and we are going to give you the 3 staff new comic book picks of the week. And my pick is a DC book. It's Batman, the Murder Machine #1. This is the second spin-off of the Dark Knight's Metal series. And just like last week, my pick was Batman, the Red Death #1. That book focused on if Batman turned evil and killed the Flash and stole his powers. That's just like this book this week, except instead of the Flash, it's Cyborg. Now, how does he get the name the Murder Machine? Well, I'm glad you asked, because he basically spine rips the head off of a major character and just goes straight Mortal Kombat on him. So if you guys want to see that, definitely check out the Murder Machine.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, Issue 11 is the one issue left before the season finale, and the series has been excellent, so if you haven't been reading it, use this as a jumping on point to go ahead and get caught up, because next month is the big season finale and you are not going to want to miss it. Some of the best action is in this book, some of the best characters that you already know and love from the series, so get with it, read it, do it.
My pick this week is a fairly obvious one. It's Marvel Legacy #1. Written by Jason Aaron and with art mostly by Esad Ribic, which is a fantastic creative team. The main story of this book involves a team of prehistoric Avengers fighting some cosmic threat, but it is much, much bigger than that. Much like the DC Rebirth one-shot did last year for the DC universe, this one-shot is going to set up stories that will be playing out through the Marvel universe for years to come. So Marvel fans are probably not going to want to miss this one.
And those are our picks for the week, so you guys make sure to check out even more titles from Marvel, DC, and Image, and for the full list of all the new comic books that came out this week, head over to ComicBook.com.
Thanks to our staff for those hot picks. And Randy Pena, I see you in the comments section talk about The Matrix 4. I promise I wanted to. But let's get to the news. Check this out. The F word, I can't say it here, but they can say it on AMC. It might be allowed on The Walking Dead now after Fear the Walking Dead dropped one on Sunday night.
Told me that there was an email had come out. There'd been a memo saying we could now say twice over the course of the entire season. And I don't know at what point AMC corporate decided to allow it, but they did.
Now that was the voice of Dave Erickson. He's the showrunner on Fear the Walking Dead. I had an interview with him, and he told me that they're allowed 2 F words per season on Fear the Walking Dead. It was a new AMC policy. Now, the question is, does this apply to The Walking Dead since it's an AMC policy? And if it does, should they allow the F word at 8 years in? Do you think it's time to just drop the?
Yeah, absolutely. On The Walking Dead, they should. Now, there are many shows that they should not, and you know, we know which shows we're going to allow. The people are children. I don't have any children personally, but yes, for The Walking Dead, they should allow it. If they did it on Fear and they do not do it on the original Walking Dead, I would actually be angry about this.
I don't know why it took this long. Like, first of all, with the end of season 4, when they got to Terminus and they're screwing with the wrong people, that alternate take with the F-bomb is way cooler.
Completely.
Like, it's a word, all right? And this is television. You know, we can't show language. They're just now getting to the point where we can say certain words on TV. We can show, you know, as much violence as we want, but like language and sex are so like, we have our priorities in really weird places. We have such weird priorities, and it's like, dude, it's a word. If you can show someone getting mauled by a zombie and getting shot in the head, like, there's nothing wrong with one little 4-letter word. I don't know why we can't say it on this show.
The thing is, it's Negan's favorite word when you watch the intro. I mean, 2 per season isn't going to make all the difference. I think that there's in ads. I think there's a deal with commercials and ads. If you're using the F word, certain ads might not want to be associated with the show, but it's like, we just had Glenn's eye pop out,
and it was
Spencer's
fine.
guts pour out, and you know what? I don't see the difference. I say go for it. We're gonna have to move on. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Should The Walking Dead use the F word? And if you do think so, what character should be the first to say it? But moving on, a new trailer for Thor Ragnarok has arrived. It's probably the final extended look we're going to get at this movie before it comes out in November. We're going to check this out for the next 2 minutes right here on Comic Book Now. And maybe right now, I think we could hunt for some clues in this trailer while we do.
I feel like Dora. Let's do it.
I mean, first of all, you have Doctor Strange. Right
that's who that was?
Awesome.
Doctor Strange. I know who Doctor Strange is.
That brings me to a question. I actually am wondering.
I have a theory. Go ahead.
Oh wait, well, the 6th Infinity Stone.
Will it be in this movie?
It's in head.
I thought it was in the hammer.
And take it.
But the hammer is like shot. The hammer is no more.
See, I think the Soul Stone. I don't know if we're gonna see it in Thor.
I've heard it's in Heimdall.
Yeah, it's in his brain. They're gonna like suck it out.
No, like in his chest piece.
It's not in anybody's brain.
No, I've heard it.
I've watched Idris Elba stuff before. They're gonna put a wire on them, okay? They're gonna tap the local phones in Baltimore, and they're gonna like get the cops, and they're gonna work Idris Elba. They're gonna go admit to have an Infinity Stone. It was on for 6 seasons on HBO.
Every time I see a trailer for this movie, I get more excited.
Absolutely.
I was on set for that day when it was like the final.
Oh man, you're so cool!
I know, it was pretty cool.
I'm jealous.
It was awesome.
No hate, just jealousy.
It's a nice showdown between Thor, Hulk, Valkyrie,
I'm loving the
Loki, and
synth,
Bella.
like the music, the synth background. I love that. I love the neon 80s vibes. We were talking about this.
I'm just ready to see Korg more. We saw a scene of
There's
Korg
a quick shot of Korg here.
We saw a whole scene at Comic-Con, and he was hysterical.
It's voiced, there's Korg.
Yeah, it's like
He's voiced by Taika Waititi. There you have Surtur, who I found out was voiced by Clancy Brown, who, by the way, Clancy Brown is the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
He's
Mr.
also
Krabs
he's
in
great.
Thor Ragnarok.
But the Clancy Brown is also the voice of Mr. Krabs. I thought that was a funny little snippet. Let us know what you think of the Thor Ragnarok trailer in the comments section. If you want to watch it again, go to comicbook.com/Marvel. But let's get to some DC stuff. The Flash movie turned Flashpoint is back in the news. Not only is Gal Gadot confirmed to appear in the movie as Wonder Woman, but Robert Zemeckis of Back to the Future is still rumored to be the frontrunner as the director. Still, this movie can't seem to land a clear-cut director or release date, but Warner Brothers must be excited about it because Jeff Johns says Ezra Miller is the collective favorite after Justice League, which, by the way, was just recently screened for the first time, and a similar impression came out of that screening. I may or may not have talked to somebody who saw it. Now, Charlie, I'm going to hand it over to you for a second. Will you take the wheel and tell us what's going on with fall TV season taking full swing?
All right, so if you didn't know, this week marked the return of fall TV season, so all your favorite shows are back, and with show returning, that means there's really big news coming with it too. So let's run through the big highlights from TV this week. Now, first of all, it's always good to get the bad news out of the way. So we're going to start with Rick and Morty. The current third season was supposed to be 14 episodes long, but co-creator Dan Harmon has announced that it will only consist of 10, which makes this Sunday the season finale. And I know we're all sad. Next, we still don't know when The Punisher is coming out. Sci-Fi has ordered a pilot for a TV adaptation of Rick Remender's celebrated comic, The Deadly Class, being produced by none other than the minds behind Avengers Infinity War, Joe and Anthony Russo. On CBS, the Big Bang Theory spinoff Young Sheldon premiered to nearly 17 million people on Monday night, making it the most watched new sitcom premiere since 2011. That one episode was enough for CBS to give the show a full season pickup, the first freshman series to receive one this season. And finally, tonight's episode of Gotham sets up a giant mystery about Barbara's return to the land of the living. Good news, we've got the exclusive scoop about her surprising reappearance, and I'll be unveiling that little secret tonight after the show, so be sure to stay tuned to Twitter and on comicbook.com/DC for that little info.
Oh, Charlos, will you share that information with me? Do I have to wait?
Oh, I don't know. All
right.
We can talk about it after the show.
So thank you, Charlie, for keeping us up to date on the TV. I did see in the comment section, Andrew Hayes says, who is the new girl? He wasn't here at the beginning of the show. If you're just joining us, I want to introduce you one more time, guys, to Miss Janelle Wheeler. She is my co-host on After the Dead. She is Walking Dead extraordinaire.
Super fan is what I like to say.
So we had her on the show today because it's a big Walking Dead show. So make sure you share our show so we can continue to do stuff like this with more shows and movies. Make sure you like our Comic Book Now Facebook page. And now, as promised, I had the chance to catch up with Aaron actor Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead earlier this week to get some additional intel for The Walking Dead Season 8. Check this out. Joining us now via Skype, you have come to know him as Aaron on The Walking Dead. Ross Marquand is with us. Ross, thank you so much for joining us on Comic Book Now.
Thank you very much for having me.
Man, so I was lucky enough to visit the set of episode 100, and the word I kept hearing there from everybody, from all the cast members and the crew members, is that it is propulsive. So I'm wondering how true, in your opinion, that is, and how much of an effect on the entire season does episode 100 kind of set in motion? It's
if propulsive, they mean it's kind of incendiary. Then yeah, I'd say so. It really is just kind of like I liken it to like a dominoes. I think last year was all about getting those dominoes in place. We got to know who the saviors are. We got to know who Negan was, and it was frustrating, I think, for a lot of us as actors because we were hoping that we could fight back all season. We wanted to be more active, and we just weren't allowed to because Negan is taking everything from us at every turn. As well he should be. That's what sets up all the wonderful pieces so beautifully. And that was season 7. It was just setting up these domino pieces really delicately and putting them all in place. And I think season 8, from the moment it begins, we're just all those pieces just get knocked down.
But it seems like your journey really is just beginning because in the trailer, dude, we get to see you doing some really cool stuff in this all-out war story. I mean, you're blasting machine guns, you're rallying the troops. How much action do you get to get in on? Because Aaron really seems like he's not holding anything back. And is it more fun for you to kind of like be letting loose and doing these action sequences with an awesome cast right by your side?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, the great thing about Aaron is that he's always been very good at diplomacy since before the apocalypse began, and then certainly now that the apocalypse is happening, he's always been really good at seeing things from both sides, negotiating, and of course being a voice of diplomacy and hoping to reason with people as best he can in this crazy world. But I think even he has realized that the saviors are not people that you can reason with, and diplomacy is pointless. So the only thing left for him now is to pick up arms and fight, and he fights in a big way. And yeah, getting. I mean, I've been shooting guns in real life for 30 years, and it is nice to be able to kind of pick up another one and learn how to shoot these guns and just unleash holy hell on some saviors. It's great.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see that holy hell get unleashed. Every season, though, these characters kind of develop new relationships. I mean, this is a zombie show, but it's a very character-driven show. So I'm not going to ask about Jesus and Aaron. Like, I know everybody watching wants me to. I read the comments, guys. But in the trailer, it looks like there might be a cool moment between Enid and Aaron. They're standing by a car. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I was wondering, both these characters are particularly close with Maggie already. So is there maybe like a new dynamic, a new friendship we can expect to see between those two characters?
No, actually not at all. They're just both car enthusiasts. They just both really like cars, and Enid was coming over to be like, oh, what kind of engine is this? And I say, oh, it's a V8, it's got 300 horsepower. It's pretty good. Good gas mileage, not the best, but,
nice. I can't wait for
yeah,
that. It's
they're
going to be exciting.
car enthusiasts. No, not so much. No, there definitely is a friendship and a bond brewing. Of course, you would assume that since Enid and Aaron have known each other since the Alexandria days back in, before everything went south, they probably had a pretty close bond already. But I think now that everything is being tested and that all these allegiances are really being questioned, it's especially important for these people to come together and coalesce and say, what can we do? How can we fight in moving forward and most effectively?
You got to see Andrew Lincoln in that old man Rick getup, and I don't want to know what's going on there. I want to wait and find out. But what was it like for everybody to be there and see Andrew in this old man Rick version, like this whatever's going on there? What was it like to see him with the beard and the short hair?
See, it's funny. That's actually what Andy looks like in real life. That's not. What you see on TV is that's all added. They make him look younger. They've been making him look younger the last few seasons. That's actually how he looks. He's a short-haired old man, and we have to do a lot of CGI every episode to make him look.
Budget. Woo.
As now, yeah, no, it was cool. I'll tell you, like it was a strange thing because I came that day and I didn't have to work that day, but I wanted to check it out. And I was like, "Where's Andy?" And I turned a corner and I didn't realize it was him. And I just saw him for a second. I was like, "Jeez!" I mean, the transformation was total, And he looks completely different with this massive old man beard and the short hair. It's a good look. I kind of like it. It's a little like reminiscent of Arnold Schwarzenegger and. Oh gosh, what was that? Anyway,
we know there are some shocking deaths coming this season. Scott Gimple said so himself, and it's just a part of this show. And now we have war, so it might be even more than we expect. But for you guys as a cast, has this season been any more difficult than others? Because I feel like though the real feeling has been a relief by comparison to season 7. So has there been anything that's been really tough for you guys to shoot?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't really speak to that, of course. But I mean, it's a dark season, but a more hopeful season than last year, I would say. Again, like I was saying earlier, last year was so much about getting to know the saviors and Negan and what makes them tick, and trying to also paint a compelling story of why they behave the way they do and see how the fans would react to that. I think it was important to kind of tell their story as well and not just do what a lot of shows do, which is say, these are the bad guys and that's that, You really get to know who Negan and the Saviors are last season. But in doing so, so much of our resources, our goods, our weapons are being taken from us. And it was a very energy-sucking season for the characters because they're just losing everything at every turn. And this season, in sharp contrast, is more active, and it's more about how do we fight back? How do we get back what we lost? And that's an exciting thing, not just for us as actors, but also I think for the fans.
Awesome, man. I can't wait. And I got one last question for you. This one comes from Twitter. @Morandinho wants to know, will the beard stick around? Aaron looks badass with it.
Oh, this one right here?
The beard that we've been seeing on Aaron in recent episodes and in the trailer, where they want to know, is Aaron rocking a beard?
I think there's a distinct possibility you'll be seeing more of this beard. I fought hard for this beard, you know, and yeah, I like it, and I hope the fans do too, and I hope the showrunners allow me to keep it for years to come.
There you go, man. Well, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. It has been so much fun watching you on this whole journey since you joined The Walking Dead. So do me a favor, don't turn into a zombie this season.
Oh, dude, I can't make any promises, but thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us at Comic Book Now. Everybody at home, The Walking Dead premieres its 8th season on October 22nd. You do not want to miss this. I'm Brandon Davis, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you so much to Ross for joining us. I gotta say, I remember I interviewed Ross right before his first episode aired, and watching him on this show all along it's really cool to see like how the show has changed his life, and he's stayed such a cool guy.
I've heard he's like one of the sweetest cast members.
He's such a cool dude. I gotta give it to him. But thank you, Ross. Thank you, everybody who's dropped questions in. Reminder, we are live. Make sure you hit like on our Comic Book Now Facebook page. Make sure you share us with your friends. And if you want to watch more from our visit to the set of The Walking Dead or more of our interviews from earlier in the show, go to comicbook.com/thewalkingdead, and there may or may not be an exclusive trailer waiting for you there that just went up a couple hours ago.
Oh, snap.
But now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the questions, comments, and Scott Eastwood.
Oh, man, I don't have my computer. I forgot it.
Don't worry, I got you.
Oh, okay, good.
A really great question to just jump right in. Jess Bautista is asking, do you guys think Gotham will introduce more villains this season?
I know the answer to that question.
This is a good one for Charlie. Charlie?
I know the answer to that. Jess, I actually know that when you ask me a question that I understand. It's great. So Scarecrow, we know, is here. Tonight's episode is a lot of Scarecrow. It's really terrifying. But what you'll find out later from one of my little scoops tonight, Scarecrow might not be around for very long. We are going to get new villains this season. We know that Professor Pig is coming, which is a big thing for comic fans. And when I talked to EP John Stevens a couple weeks ago, he did say that Calendar Man is in the plans for the future. I don't think that's going to happen this season, but he's on the radar as one of like the next up villains. So there are going to be a lot of different.
I feel like Charlie just now was like that guy on the commercial with the fishing rod, and he's like, "You almost got it." Almost. That's like with a scoop on the end of it. You got to be quicker than that. Make sure you go to comicbook.com/DC tonight after Gotham to hear all about what Charlie just teased you with.
Ooh, okay, we have another question for y'all. Reese, I was corrected. Reese Williams is asking, if the rumors are true that the Avengers Infinity War trailer will actually drop tomorrow, what do you think will happen?
Oh, Reese Williams, loyal viewer, thanks for the question. I don't know, I've heard this rumor, September 29th, Avengers Infinity War trailer. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it's going to drop. It very well could. I mean, it very well could drop. It could have dropped during the show. I don't know. I don't think Marvel is going to tell anybody when they're going to drop that trailer. It's going to come before Thor Ragnarok. I can tell you that. That's what Kevin Feige said when I talked to him for Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't know when.
I don't think it's going to be tomorrow because there's nothing tomorrow that makes sense. I mean, obviously, it's the Infinity War trailer. You're going to get eyes on it even if you just tweet it. But they normally like to release these things with either a movie or a big TV event. Like the Star Wars Episode 8 trailer's coming on an episode of a Monday Night Football game. So it's going to be something ABC or ESPN affiliated. And there's nothing happening tomorrow on any of those things. There's not, unless they did it during like the once up. Oh, wait, hold on though. Inhumans premieres on ABC tomorrow. And if people are thinking the Inhumans, because no one's going to watch that show. It's really bad.
Charlie's just talking.
Oh, it's terrible. It's horrible. But if people are thinking that there's going to be an Infinity War trailer, they'll turn into watching Humans no matter how bad it is. I mean, I'll turn into watching Humans again.
I haven't watched Inhumans
That's a great
yet,
point.
so I'm going to watch it.
I didn't think about that until literally just now. That might be a thing.
That might be it. We may have just talked our way into the answer that we're getting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a secret genius. Thank you for bringing that out of me, Reese.
Conspiracy theory hat because Charlie just came up with one. I'm going to go back and watch how you worked your way all the way to that.
You can probably see it in my just like working through my brain to figure it out.
All right, let's get one more question before we wrap up tonight's show.
Let's bring it full circle with some Walking Dead. We have two different questions, but I'll stick with this one. Rosanna Jin, will we learn about Negan's past and how Lucille came to be?
Will we learn about Negan's
past? I think so. I'm just going to answer this right now because of The Walking Dead. I think for sure.
From the comics, we don't
right,
know
but
on
I
the
think
show.
just talking about the show. So I have heard several people talk about this online. These are thoughts. This is not 100% concrete, but I've heard that we will be getting to know more of the reason why he is in this way. I also heard that he might be in a confession zone with, I don't know, with Father Gabriel. I heard that might be happening in the scenes that we saw from the trailer with the zombie hands in the background.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that the more they show us about Negan's past, the better the show will do. I think everybody wants to know that we've seen Michonne. we've seen. I don't know. I'm all about it.
I mean, I don't know about doing well or not doing well. I mean, obviously people like watching Negan, but The Walking Dead's known for standalone episodes. They're known for flashback episodes.
I don't think they are actively trying to get away from those bottle episodes this season. A lot of stories are going to be told concurrently. I do think
I hope so,
we're
but
going
Negan,
to get
I think, is the
a
exception.
Negan episode. I think we'll get a Negan backstory episode, just like we got with the Governor, because actually while we were on set, Scott Gimple said right around the mid-season time, it's kind of a very nonstop pace, and then there's just a hard left turn, and it explains kind of how everything happened. So that could be the Negan backstory. Negan's backstory in the comics has been one of my favorite things to read. And it's kind of unfolded at the same time that he's kind of become an anti-hero in the comics, and it's really just supplemented that story really nicely. I'm all for it. I also heard that Eugene might help tell Negan's backstory, because Eugene's a very curious dude, and he's around Negan, so he's going to have a lot of questions, and that might help some of it come out in Season 8.
That would be so juicy.
Yeah, I hope so. Guys, thank you so much for watching Comic Book Now. Welcome to the program, Janelle Wheeler. Make sure you like our Facebook page, Comic Book Now. Charlie Ridgely, as always, and on behalf of Comic Book Nation and ComicBook.com, I'm Brandon Davis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Let's do this.
You got it. Come along. You are going to enjoy this tour. Sorry.